what's going on, family? It's yours truly, Nick Woodard, checking in with you. Another amazing day. Hey, real quick, I want to just share my personal testimony on how my econ, the personal financial success company, has helped change me and my family's life, right? So before my econ, I was living not even paycheck to paycheck. I was living getting paid Friday to being broke on Monday, right? I had credit cards maxed out. I was in debt up to my neck and was clueless about money. So I was introduced to this opportunity by my personal mentor, Mr. Terrence Hill, the founder of the Financial Blueprint Academy, because we believe in giving people a financial peace of mind, right? And he shared this information with me, and based off the first strategy when it comes to cash flow management, I was able to legally adjust my W-4 form as well as my wife's, and we income shifted an extra $700 back into our household each and every month, right? And we took the new cash flow and put it towards our debt. And up to today's date, we have snowballed over $50,000 in debt at the government's expense, right? And on top of that, we have actually cash flowed just over $100,000 by applying these strategies. So I encourage each and every one of you to reach out to anyone you hear who is talking about personal financial success, representing my econ, because we're all about changing lives and we want to welcome you to the financial journey. Have a blessed one. Peace.
Hey, what is going on? It is what, 8:32, right? So we are doing this every Thursday. This is the Real University, simply standing for Renewing Excellence, Advancing Leadership, all right? And those of you that are plugged in and you watching this, whether it's live, if you're watching this live, of course, that's what I'm talking to now, because there is a link, right? If you see in your comments, there is a link. If you check in your YouTube comments right now, where are you watching at? You're live. If you're watching, if you're just listening, right, then it's a little different. But if you're watching this live, okay, then you can click the link and you can actually have an invite right here to the studio, okay? If you had a question, a comment, let me know, right? Just click the link and they will take you directly into the studio, right? And then I will let you into the studio. But until then, what I wanted to do is so you can see first of all, the little testimony in the beginning, of the big testimony in the beginning, forgive me, of Mr. Nick Woodard. And that's what we want to do. We want to focus on testimonies, because there's a lot of things that are moving, okay? And within a movement, what you want to do is you don't want to be stagnated because of previous decisions, okay? And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to get reignited. We're going to get ourselves motivated. We're going to find out, that we've been, if you've been anything like me, I've been a little too comfortable, right? For my goals, okay? People may look at you and say, okay, hey, you may be doing this or you may be doing that. They have a particular perception, but accordingly to my goals, I've been a little too comfortable, okay? And so that's what we're going to do now. And so what I'll do is prepare the guest and make sure that he's ready to go. And right before then, we're going to have a testimony of our mentor, Mr. Terrence Hill, and what he's done in over $1 million in cash flowing, right? He's cash flowed over $1 million with a simple strategy, not using sales, but using strategies.
I'm super excited about my econ because of the freedom, the flexibility that it allowed for me and my family to have. Before my econ, I was in the military and we had more month than we had money. After applying the strategies and using the system, we've been able to cash flow up to $700,000. I have retired without having to get a retirement job, and my wife is on the same path to retire within the next 2 years, so we could just live our life on purpose and with our kids. That's why I'm excited about my econ.
All right, so that was Terrence Hill, and that was a mentor. And if you're going to be in Atlanta, I hope you're going to be there in June, and get the dates from us. Get the dates from your the individual that invited you. Get the dates so that you can join us in Atlanta, because we're going to put our heads down. We're going to black out for the next 90 days, and we're going to make sure that we get our goals, that we get the things that we're going for, because too many times that we are looking for a particular goal and we settle. Right, we settle because we realize it takes a little bit, maybe too much hard work or a little too much discipline. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to start analyzing, the different pieces of what we have. So while you guys are out there, let me know who's out there for me. Okay, if you are in the comment section, you should be able to see the StreamYard link. If you have a comment or something that you wanted to 30-second, 60-second testimony, feel free as well. But also let me know, where are you calling or where are you viewing from? Okay, where are you viewing from? I am typing that now. City and state. All right, I got the original Juicy Live show. Miss Juicy says hello. I know she's coming out of Greenville, South Kakalaki. Then we have Shantae Lattimore coming out of Simpsonville, South Kakalaki. Miss Sharon Avant coming out of Simpsonville as well. And so as we are putting these things together, we want to make sure that you guys have a pen and paper around, because when you are trying to remember something, the mind is for thinking, okay? But your pencil, your pen, whatever you're using for recording, that's for remembering, right? So we want to make sure that we do all those things so that we are in place. So welcome to Miss McMorris out of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Brittany Cowell out of Simpsonville, South Carolina as well. Most definitely Mr. Trevor Watts coming out of the big city of Lawrence, South Carolina. And then we also have a Marcus Cowell straight out of Lawrence, South Carolina. All right, Corey Turner coming out of Greenville, South Kakalaki as well. All right. So once again, like I say, we will definitely be doing this. And as we going forward tonight, we are reigniting. So if you missed it, right, what you want to do is find out where it's recorded at, where, if you have a teammate that missed it, find out, where it's recorded. If you're finding this and you watching it on recording, we're getting ready to reignite. We're ready to start exactly how we should. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some real world applications. Okay. Some real world applications so you can see what it is that we're doing. Okay. What it is that the focus on why we are kingdom purpose builders. Okay. So give me a second or two. I'm going to bring this up for us. Let me get this music down as well.
I want you to take a look at this. Write this down. Number 2. Success in life is a result of the decisions you make. This is very important, because failure in life is also a result of your decisions that you make. In other words, everyone comes to earth, but they decide how much of themselves are manifested. Say, only one person got my revelation just now. I'm going to say it again. Everybody comes to earth, but you decide how much of you is manifested. And that's why God sent me to you tonight, because you've been living a lie. You've accepted what they told you. If you know who you really are, you'll be afraid to meet yourself. You beat 4 999 million others to get where you are today. You better give God a big shout there, brother. You better give God a big praise. Hallelujah. Glory to God. Good news. Good news. Good news. Good news. You don't have to try and win in life anymore. You are here because you won. Come on, give God a praise. Somebody shout hallelujah. Somebody shout praise the Lord. Now you see why I am so bold. I won. Tell your neighbor, I won the race. Tell your neighbor, I came out a winner. I'm not trying to win. I already won. Give God a big clap offering right there. Praise God. Now here's the good news. He would not have allowed you to begin unless you were already finished. Now read the next statement in the verse. Read it. He says, read it. Are you sure you get it? He says, I make known from ancient times what is yet to come. Now what he means is when you arrived, because you are finished, your finish came with the start.
Hi. Hey, I hope you got that. So at the end there, what he was saying was you are only started. You have only begun because you have your end has already arrived. Right. So the reason why you have that pull within you is because the end has been placed there. OK. And then that's what the frustration is, because you're not able to express that thing that's within you. And that thing that's within you is the right ending. It's the reason why you were fearfully and wonderfully made, right? It's that reason why there is no weapon formed against you. It's that reason within you, right? That's what helps you to be guided, because that has already been deposited in you. There is a purpose. That's why you were born, okay? And so now the goal is to decide what is that purpose that I'm trying to express, what level I'm trying to express that through. Okay, so let's go through a couple of things as we look at it. Okay, so let's imagine, a few areas. Okay, so let's imagine that I had a show where I had a testimony that I had that really no one really had. And on this show, it was a podcast or a YouTube show or Instagram, TikTok. I'm all over the place. And with this show, I want to change people's lives by telling them a testimony of how my life was saved, right? How I overcame, how my family has been changed because of the things that has happened because of this powerful testimony that I have. Now, this show that I have, the first and foremost, what I have to do is I have to get it out in front of an audience, right? In this particular audience, I have to find out how to get myself in front of that audience. But at the same time, I have to also maintain a current lifestyle and also prepare myself a future lifestyle, which is the assets that I have, right? That's going to pay me, right? And so what we want to do is we want to get to a place that where we have the option that we can eventually jump out of this current lifestyle, this thing that's preparing us for a labor, this thing that we're exchanging our dollars for their hours, our hours for their dollars, right? We want to get in a place that we can be full-fledged in our purpose, being 100% in all of our time in it, because we have assets that will take care of that, right? And so in order to do that, We're starting with that end goal, but in order to do that, we have to do what? We have to do those things that's going to free up the time, that's going to allow me to do the show, that's going to allow me to do the content, that's going to allow me to hire content creators, that's going to allow me to hire or to pay others that have great testimonies as well, so I can sow in their lives and show their testimony on my stage as well, thereby creating more traffic into my podcast as well. See, and this now generates, now I have not only just my podcast, but I have also, there are others on the podcast that have gone through physical abuse in a relationship, and they have a testimony as well. Then there's others that have gone through testimonies of strength, of how they've overcome within their family, and see, they have a testimony as well. So each and every person within that starts a testimony, right? And you have your own individual podcast. And what we do is we share and share alike within a social co-opted manner. And what we do then is we create an advertising co-op with a centralized focus talking about transformation and testimonies. And we use that as an advertising platform with Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which then drives the right demographic to our platforms. Now that whole platform is driven by that main show, which is the Miss Juicy show, right? And see, now we're creating the freedom. The freedom is created by understanding I need to create cash flow. How do I create cash flow? First of all, I'm going to revisit my W-4 because the Uncle Sam is taking too much of my money at my W-2. If I'm a 1099 person, then I'm going to revisit the amount of money that I'm writing off. I'm going to be writing off everything possible so that I can keep my money that I'm making now, right? So on those two levels, that has helped me to create more cash flow, right? And so now what I'll do is I'll use that extra cash flow to pay down expenses. Okay, now I don't have as much money going out on expenses. Now that extra money, I roll over or shift that income over into any other debt that I have. Now I reduce all of the debt. Now that debt that I was paying on now is paying me. So now I have more cash flow. See, I haven't sold anything. I haven't started selling plates from home. I haven't gotten a second job, but I've created an extra $500 to $1,500 a month in cash flow. And the average person in South Carolina right now, it has a $18,000 a year job. Okay, that's the average person in South Carolina. $18,000 a year, you can imagine it's hard to live on. So if you can create an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month, that's more than most people on the average are making. Okay. And see, now you use that extra cash flow, you better your credit. You start now reducing interest rates, reducing how much you're paying in credit, right? And things like insurance, right? And see, now you take that extra money and you start working on business credit. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we were able to focus and fold that particular genre that we're working with. And now what we will be doing is to generate more views and understandings. We come from a platform of we want to be self-sufficient. We want to be free, right? So your platform now is, hey, this is my testimony, but guess what? This testimony is not possible. I can't get this out to you if I wasn't working on my personal finances. Now, as I'm working on my personal finances, I'm getting my credit right. And this is what I'm learning. This is what I'm learning on personal credit. This is what I'm learning on budgeting. This is what I'm learning. And if you would like to know more, you see what I'm saying? And see, that drives, that's called a call to action. And then your social media co-op, and you have 10 other individuals within the Real University, and we all are sharing your story. And then on top of that, you're sharing the other stories, okay? And see, that's how we apply the MyEcon, the real university process to what you have. So now you're individual. Now you're reaching out to people, not just because you know that we can help them because you say, hey, this particular thing can help you with your purpose. But now you also reach out to individuals that would like to start podcasts, that would like to start YouTube channels, that would like to start the things and monetize their particular YouTube channels. And see, now with that process, you'll invite them into the real university process, and the MyEcon strategies will allow them to do the things that they do. Then once they free their minds of the financial responsibilities by putting everything on an automated income shift, right? A AI shift, a automated income shift, right? This just simply means we have the education that frees up our money from the debt, from expenses, from taxes, from inflation, and we move all of that money over into getting our credit better, reducing expenses, reducing debt, right? See, most people are doing this. They're already under the gun of debt, expenses, taxes, you know what I'm saying? And then they go try to sell some more stuff, right? And that only has them under more stuff. So I want to sell real estate. I want to sell houses. I want to sell jewelry. It doesn't matter because you're clouded, right? And then the other side, they don't have the personal development. So this is why we come together. See, I saw this particular presentation the other day, and it was saying how the school systems have really screwed up the thinking of America. And it was designed so that you or anyone and everyone that goes through that system goes to become an employee. See, they don't want you thinking for yourself, right? So therefore, they also point you to saying, hey, I'm going to take this test by myself. They say, hey, don't make sure that you don't help anybody, right? Make sure if it's you that's going to excel, it's you that's going to excel. But see, in the real world, it takes a team. See, in the real world, it takes a family. In the real world, it takes a tribe of people that are going to go forward. But because we've been trained with that type of training, and also the other type of training that we have received through different systematic institutions that are around, we have this thing to get mine and I'm gonna get out, right? And so that thing, it changes what we have, that purpose inside, because we're revolving around a capitalistic type of society, right? So now this is why now you can focus and say, this is how I can free myself to do that particular purpose that I'm trying to do. So if you can imagine that, let's exchange it. That individual purpose we were talking about, we referred that to somebody that was trying to start a show, somebody that was trying to get their testimony out there, right? So what if now there's a person that is working full time, and they have a different purpose in life, and they really want to express that purpose, right? And this full-time job, though, is forcing them to work doubles. It's forcing them to work 12 hours, 15 hours, right? Pastor Sims, you know what I'm speaking of. Right now, we're speaking of the Mr. Shante Moore. Good, I got it pulled up already, right? Lattimore, excuse me. So what I wanted to show you is how it's interchangeable, right? So as you are reaching out to others that want to start podcasts, you're reaching out to people in that passion, in that purpose. Hey, you want to express yourself? You have a calling, you have a testimony, you have a purpose, right? Let me show you the steps to doing that, right? So now you are now a person that's working full time, and you want to transition from that full-time job over into your particular purpose. And that purpose may be just, I'm tired of this freaking job, right? Or that purpose could be whatever it may be. You're doing the same thing. You're going to now start your focus, and you're going to start reducing the amount of expenses that's going out. You're going to increase every bit of cash flow you have. You're going to adjust your W-4. When you adjust that W-4, the W-4 is the paperwork that you filled out. I know you know, Shante, but there's people that are listening. The W-4 is the paperwork when you started your job, okay? That told them how much to keep out of your check or to put in your check or what have you, right? So now you want to adjust your W-4 because you have a job. You're working toward your purpose, right? So you revisit this W-4 because now you have a home-based business. If you don't have a home-based business, make sure you reach out to the person that invited you to watch this as well, okay? Because a home-based business is really simple to do, okay? Now, what you do is you want to increase, right, the particular dependence. That's what people say, right? Wrong, okay? That's what's going to get you trapped. That's what's going to get you in trouble. You say, I'm going to do it 6 months and I'm going to reduce it 6 months. You're going to get audited eventually, right? You're going to think just because you reduced it those 6 months doesn't mean they can't go back and see, okay, why did you do that 2 years ago? Okay. So what you want to do is you want to be in a position of having a home-based business. This allows you to have all of your income now because you now have a home-based business. And this particular society is built around small businesses. Okay. So now you have a home-based business at home. You're working and you're doing what? You're increasing your cash flow. You're monitoring your credit. That's your home-based business. We'll teach you more, okay? So now you've adjusted this W-4. That's going to give you somewhere between $250 to $500 a month. That's going to give you back into your paycheck, okay? It depends on how much you make, right? Because it's relative to how much you make, right? So now you have this extra income. Before we were robbing Peter to pay Paul, okay? Not again, this is not Shante Lattimore, okay? So what we're looking at is the person that is getting ready to transition from having a job, okay? This W-4, you've adjusted it. Now you got more money. You don't go spend it, right? You don't even go and put it onto debt right away. You don't do anything right away. You want to get yourself a one-page cash flow plan so that you can know, do I need to put it in the debt? Do I need to put it in reducing expenses, right? Where does this need to go in the scope of things that I'm trying to accomplish? See, we need to stop shooting from the hip. We need to stop saying, okay, oh man, it's 8:30, so let me show up, right? And see, I'm not being critical, but what I'm trying to do is highlight the things that are blocking our win, okay? So now we've adjusted these things. Now the life gets in our way, right? We have extra money coming in. So as life is still getting our way, we still got to go to work, but we have a plan. So now we know how much money to put down. Boom, 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 boom. I'm putting money over here. Now, every bit of time I have, I'm working on my personal credit. Maybe I got 10 minutes. Let me log in and see what's going on. Okay, let me collect that. And okay, let me select that. Okay, hey, they've already done this. Let me see where they are. Let me call my manager, my mentor, or whomever it is. Okay, good. I make this note because I can't call them right now. Great. 10 minutes are up. I did that. I got that credit done. Okay. Now I got another 10 minutes left at 5 o'clock and I'm getting ready to get home, right? But I know I'm going to be in traffic a little bit, right? So I pop in a video, right? I listen to something on YouTube. See, I get that motivation going. I start to remove myself from the things that have already bothered me, right? And I start to change my atmosphere. I start to change my operating system. The things that are going in your ear, garbage in, garbage out. The more you know about the housewives of Atlanta, the less you're going to have your own housewife. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that you can reduce the amount of time that you're spending in things that don't matter. Right, and come in and say, know exactly what to do. So now what you do is you log into your system and you can let me look and see where I am. Let me learn a little bit more about my purpose, right? So my purpose is selling furniture. My purpose is selling hardware, whatever that is, right? Become the best that you can be at that. My purpose is a CPA. Now I'm going to look 20 minutes, 10 minutes on how to become the best that I can be. What's the leading things that are happening right now, right? Maybe I'm in health and wellness and I'm selling butters, right? I know everything about the latest changes, switch ups and everything like that, the latest fragrances that are coming out, right? Maybe I'm into food, right? So I'm watching Triple D maybe once or twice every day, right? So that's my purpose, right? Maybe my purpose is spreading the gospel, and that's not really getting the money or the things that you would desire, right? So now I have to create assets so that the assets can pay me so that I can spread the gospel, right? So whatever that is, you can design it to where it will work for you, but you got to stop, slow down at least, and recreate, right, what it is that you want to do, okay? And so whatever those different things are, you can imagine yourself just removing those individual people that we were talking about, right? So you're a 1099 person and you're doing the jobs, right? You're doing the different things that are out there that are not what we call W-4 work, okay? Now, if you're doing those things that are not W-4 work, which means that you're not getting taxed, right? You're getting all your money up front. Okay. So now what you're doing is you didn't adjust your W-4. You went to find out the other top 12 things that can be a write-off from a home-based business standpoint. Okay. Because now you start to see that, hey, I have, let's say $4,000 a month coming in, but at the same time, my bills are $3,000 a month, right? So that means that, hey, can I get some of that $3,000 a month back? Sure, you can if you use these strategies, right? So now what you do is you start to write off the various things that you can within those $3,000. You can write off your cell phone bill. You can write off mileage. You can write, that's 467 things that you can literally write off, right? It may not all apply to you, but there are various things that you can write off. So what I want to do is to say, hey guys, nobody's going to knock on your door and say you should do this. They don't care enough to do that. Those that are in power, right? They're in power because it's a capitalistic society. Those with the information, right, are the ones that are on the top. Those people that are being either capitalized or you're getting capitalized upon, right? You can't have it, right? One way without the other. So you have to slow down, okay, and say, hey, okay, let's look at my life. Hey, I have, let's say I have 2 hours available in my 24-hour period day, right? Between my job, my children, whatever it may be, right? I have that particular left. Okay. What we want to do is we want to get to a point where those things are tracked. Okay. So when you're thinking, you're saying, okay, hey, Mike, I ain't got no time. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. You have people like Jeff Bezos. You have people like Oprah Winfrey, you have people like Magic Johnson, you have these individuals that are doing these various things in life, right? And there are only 24 hours in a day, right? For everybody. So what's the difference? What's the difference between those individuals, right? The difference is the discipline and the habits that they created. See, what we do was, what we're doing is this. We've been taught to hustle, to start a small business. And what that does is, excuse me, that creates nothing but a job for you, okay? And so now what we want to do is we want to eliminate and free ourselves to get ourselves to a place of leveraging either other people's time, other people's efforts, right? Because if you're not, that's what your job is doing. Your job didn't give you a position because they love you. They gave you a position because they saw you were the best person that they wanted to leverage. They said they took and they said, hey, certain of these people are not qualified. We don't like them, so we're not going to hire them. But we like you well enough to use you. And we're going to use you until you're either gone or you move up or whatever happens, right? So all I'm saying is this. Give yourself the discipline, the habits to create another option for yourself. This isn't selling something. We don't want to approach anybody saying, hey, in order to do this, you got to sell some. No, not at all. The focus is income shifting. That's the focus, right? Let me put this here. We want to income shift, right? And so all that means is we want to have proper cash flow management, business income, and investment income. Those are the three areas that we work on. And within those three areas, we're working on personal credit, business credit, and leveraging credit. Okay. And see, this is why we are reigniting, because it's been to a place to where if you're like me, and most of you are, you have a large heart. So every time somebody introduces to you a problem or something to solve, all right, you put all your efforts into that particular challenge to solve or to help. And that removes you from the assistance of the other hundreds of people that you can be helping, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to start building a platform of self-help, so that now you can build the things that you need to build, and then we can come in and help one another with our goals. Okay, because it's too much to where the real university is just saying, okay, let me help with these, right? And then the others are left. And then now this individuals or this group that we're helping as Real University, they say now, okay, hey, we either got what we want, now we're leaving, or we didn't get what we want in 60 days, 20 days, or whatever, now we're leaving, right? And so those things now start to remove the type of atmosphere that we desire. So we're going to start having just the basic presentations. That's going to be our Thursday night presentations for 15, 20 minutes. And then we're going to have the private inner circle for the leaders, those of you that are with us now. And we're going to start talking about brand management. We're going to start talking about social media optimizations. We're going to start talking about social SEO, right? Search engine optimizations. We're going to start learning the ins and outs, how to build courses so that you can optimize your intellectual property, right? So we're going to start doing those things that have been pulling the time away, right? Excuse me. We're going to start doing those things that we weren't doing because the time away have been pulled. Okay. So what Real University is designed to do is to help a myriad, thousands and millions of people to do what they desire in their purpose without having to pay the $30,000 of knocking their head against the wall, and not understanding the different courses that people are buying, not jumping into this YouTube course, this Instagram course, and not understanding the ins and outs of that. Okay. And so that's why we have jumped in now. So, and believe me, it's not to where we're talking about travel. Hey guys, you can plug in here and travel, and nothing wrong with that, right? And we're not talking about another pill, potion, lotion, wrap, tea, right? So it's not a whole bunch of people rah-rah because, they say, hey, they did this and really didn't do it because they didn't really achieve that particular thing, right? Because now they just came in because they were, whatever reason it was, right? Because now we want to have effects. Right? How many of us have been into the audiences of those places to where they say, hey, come on in and we're going to teach you X, Y, and Z, right? About real estate, about, marketing, about this, and this. Hey, it's free. But by the time they get through, they've taught you nothing. But by the time they get through, you got to pay for another $1,000 an hour to be with the coach, or, you got to do all these different courses that pay $5,000, $10,000 just for the course itself. No activation, no guidance, no mentorship, right? And so now this is why we call it the Real University. It takes what's the real things that's within you, right? So the things that are causing you to make excuses, right? So I want to eliminate in these leadership calls, I want to eliminate those excuses because there's no reason for them. Because if you desire to do something, it's either written in a book, it's in a video, or somebody knows about it. So the only thing that we got to do is find out where that resource in the network is, and then dial in until we get that goal accomplished, right? What does that focus stands for? Focus is follow one course until successful, right? And so now our portion, we got to know what is it that we're going after. And if it's just money, you've already missed the boat. you consistently run after money, it's going to run away from you. You got to run after the purpose. The purpose is fulfilled because the money, right? God says he gave you the ability to get wealth. Why? To fulfill the covenant, right? Not just to get the G5 plane, right? Not just to get the $1 million mansion, but to fulfill the covenant. And to fulfill the covenant is to help the widow, is to help the fatherless, is to help the children, okay? And so when you establishing the community basis within your purpose, right, that's what's going to fuel you. That's what's going to do what it is. But in the meantime, we're going to be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. We're going to learn the ins and outs of credit, business credit, personal development, how to think, how to use our words, right? Because the words are framed. Everything that we have is because of the way we speak. And we speak because of the things that's in our heart. The things that are in our heart is because of what we read, right? And what we read is because what we've been exposed to. And what we've been exposed to is because of who we brought up, right? So is it the culture, right? Or is it cultivation? So what we want to do, we want to dive in. And so from now on out, I told you last time, but I had to eliminate a lot of different things. I don't remember too many people that hit me up and said what part they wanted to be a part of. But we're going to have a understanding and say, hey, if you want to get to this goal, then this is the things that we're going to execute. And now, as I leave you, I want to share with you this one page that you're going to be able to help out, okay? And like I said, you see the link there. If you want to jump in. Some people like the Zoom and those types of things. So there's a link there. If you wanted to jump in and say hey, and just be on camera, hey, it's all well for me as too. I don't have no problem with that. But if you want to just say mention, who's good to go, jump on in. Let me know. Use the link. We would definitely bring you in. Who else out there that talks in third person? I said we. Ain't nobody over here but me. Ain't that something? All right. So this is what you're going to follow, right? One page. Okay. So most of you have began and just download the CashFlow Manager. I'm not going to go through this. Definitely not, right? But I do have a course on this already in your back office. So, and it goes over it step by step, takes you by the hand, and says you exactly what to do, where to go, right? If you would just say, take the time. I know nobody has told us how to structure time. And that's a very detrimental thing. But we got to do it because we're going to wake up and we're going to be older than we thought, right? Right? Because I know I just turned 51. I can remember when I was like thinking, man, how long is it going to be before I turn 21? My goodness, it's been forever. I just want to be grown, be 21. Now I don't even want to do this grown up thing no more sometimes, right? So that's what we mean. So at the end all be all, you got to decide what is your priority. And if your priority is your purpose, then some things you're going to have to stop. Some things you're going to have to start. Right? And it may be a slow transition, but as long as you're doing it, right? Because if you just change 1% every day, that's better than 100% change. That's a 365% change in 1 year. Just try 1% change, right? Say, okay, hey, today I'm going to plug in and I'm going to read this book. I'm not really used to read, but I'm going to read, just 2-3 pages, right? I got to change because if I don't change, I'm going to keep getting the same results, right? I'm going to keep the same decisions. I'm going to be in the same rut. And if I do that, then guess what's going to happen? Then that's what we call sowing and reaping. Okay. And then you get to a place to where you have sown so much in these decisions that you are making. So now you're wanting to come out of it. But you have so many seeds in the ground of these constant decisions. You start making the right decisions, but you can't see the results in time because all of the other decisions have crowding it over. So you got to put in the time, the effort. You got to reduce, just like anything else. Like say, for instance, when I was losing weight, right? When I'm losing weight, I got to reduce the things that are going through, right? I got to stop the things that I'm eating. You see what I'm saying? I got to start doing different things, right? So that's I hate being on that type of time, but that's what I do, right? So in order to find this, and then we will get up out of here. In order to find, and I hope you're taking notes because our goal is to get you to where you want to be. If you are here and you're saying, Mike, I want better income, I want better credit, I want more time with my family, I want, whatever this thing is that you desire, stop right now and realize that it's Michael that's stopping Michael from getting there. You see, it's Michael that is stopping Michael from getting there. I might blame somebody else. I may feel better by blaming somebody else. And in all reality, it may even be that person's actual quote unquote fault, right? I'm not saying that it's not that somebody caused it. I'm not saying that that's not the possibility. But when you say that person has now caused it, even though they did, you have given them your power. You can no longer change anything about it. See, when you say that, hey, it's that person's fault because of my decisions that led me to being in this person's path, because of the decisions that I've made, okay? So you got to determine that. You got to say, okay, where am I leading me as a man? Where am I leading me as a woman? Then on top of that, where am I leading my family? If I'm married, right, where am I leading my family, okay? If I'm not married and I have children, where am I leading my family, okay? And so with these, we're talking about serious matters. So it's not always the shiny things, but guys, it can be impactful very fast. It really can, because think about it. Most of individuals that have started anything have been around it 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, right? And see, if you get on a job and you say, I want to raise to the ranks of a manager, and they say, great, go ahead and do this, be a hard worker, show up on time, X, Y, and Z, right? You put that effort in. You put that effort in for 2 years, 10 years, 20 years to get to that level. But when we start working for ourselves, why won't we give ourselves that same motivation, that same dedication? And I'm not saying because you over here and you listen to a whole bunch of stuff, and you over here, you listen to a whole bunch of stuff, and then you get over here, you do a whole bunch of notes, and you're rearranging and all this. No, it's when you sit down, you say, okay, hey, what is it that's stopping me? Do I procrastinate? Do I accomplish things accordingly to my goals? Or do I have other people that are motivating me so I'm not really going toward my goals, right? Am I doing things that is going because I want to impress women? Am I doing things because I want to impress men? Am I doing things because I want to impress the Joneses? What is my motivation? Right? Why do I want that nice car? It's because it's comfortable for me and I love it just because of that, or because I like how people think about me, right? What is it? Why do I want the larger house, right? Was it because of the space, because I need it, or is it because I like the way people think about me? See, it's a whole different mode of modality when you start thinking about, okay, what is it that's driving me? And also too, think about this. No matter what your thoughts are, you are breathing at this moment. So that means you were put here with a purpose. And if that's the case, you have a limited amount of time to express this particular purpose. Now, if there's a particular say goal that you're trying to accomplish, right? And you know that you only have a certain amount of time, then what is it that we need to be doing, right? What is it that we need to change? Because I don't want to get to the end of my journey and not hear good and faithful soldier, well done, right? I don't want to get to the end of this journey and be another person in the graveyard with my purpose and my music dead within. I don't want to be somebody that's in the hospital that can't write that book that I said I was always going to write. I don't want to be the person that wakes up and says, okay, my child was 2 and I wanted to do this. Now my child's 32 and I didn't able to do this. You see what I'm saying? We got to crank it up. We got to crank it up. Okay. And so these things were to get you to say, okay, hey, where do I want to be? And so now we was like, okay, hey, I want to dive in. And you know how it is when you dive in, you got to give yourself a reward at the end. You got to make sure that you're able to do those particular things that reward you. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, we're going to dive in and we're going to start learning new things. We're going to start developing new habits. We're going to start getting ourselves on a different pathway. And we're going to realize that it's hard. But we're going to have ourselves to jump in. So we know that every Thursday, we're going to have others like us to jump in and think like we think. We're going to start plugging in with people that think like we think. And we're going to start doing those things that change those different habits. And then in June, we're going to celebrate the hard time that we put in. So if you have a desire to lose a certain amount of weight, let's go ahead and put that 90-day goal on it. If you have a desire to create and get to a position of a certain amount of credit elimination or credit goal, or whatever this particular goal is, put that 90-day track on it, and let's celebrate in June. The 8th and the 9th, I believe, the 9th and 10th, but hey, don't quote me, you'll see it a little later. But it's that week of June, somewhere between that first weekend, somewhere that 8th, 9th, and 10th, but that first weekend right there, we're going to be in Atlanta. We're going to celebrate the hard work. We're going to put our head down and we're not going to bring it up until we know, right? Because the great sage said this, whatever this goal is that you're desiring, until you want that goal, right? Like you're desiring to breathe. Don't say that you desire it until you say that, I want this, and you have that desire that you have to take your next breath, right? Until you say that, hey, whatever this is, I have no more excuses until I get this thing done. Then don't say that you desire it. So that's what this is. We're going to have a different focus, right? Because it's too much pulled to the side. We put 4-5 months into this particular goal and activity, and then people jump out of the boat, right? We put another 3-4 months into this group that comes under Real University, and you've been with me for any time. You've seen it happen. And then they don't want to do the habits and disciplines necessary, so they jump out. And it's just like the same thing. January, you got a whole gym full of people, but they don't want to do the necessary the disciplines, the habits, right? Miss Cowell, I'm sure you see it all the time. You work out consistently. So when you see people, you see a whole bunch of people come in the gym, and then you've been there consistently. And then about March or so, April, so people just taper off because it's all about those disciplined habits. Are you going to print out that paperwork that's going to show you your 1-page document? Are you going to lay down? Or are you going to stand up and do the things necessary? I sent out an email just a couple of days ago. And that email had a $500 reward connected to it. A $500 reward connected to it, right? And I had one individual to text me back that they read that email. And how I know that they read the email is because it is a particular statement in there that one had to do. Right? And that particular person followed that statement. They have received that $500 reward and has already cashed it in. I think they're using it to help their mom. I think that's their mom, right? And so now we're activating that. That's what I want to see. We got to crank it up. We got to say, okay, where am I going? And then who am I trying to become? So if that's the case, I'm trying to be a CEO. I can't think on this level to where I don't check emails, to where I don't check text messages, to where I don't read through, where I don't execute, to where I'm a good leader, quote unquote, but I'm not a good follower. Okay, so we got to change the different modalities in order to become the best us that we can be. A CEO has various meetings throughout the day. You see, we are trying to cultivate that same ideology within you by saying, hey, cultivate 30 minutes to an hour out of your day once a week so that you get energized, right? And so we're going to start having different guests, different invites over, and we're going to have different testimonies. We're going to have different things popping off, right? So you won't be seeing my ugly face all the time, but right at this point in time, right, that you have to do what you have to do. So I'm really an introvert, but when I have to clock in. So right now I'm clocking in, right? And so it is time to clock out. I got 9:25. Okay. Exactly. Before the beginning of the year, now it's just leveled out, right? We're talking about the gym. Okay. And so, guys, when we're doing this, listen, Miles Monroe and the scriptures, as well, state that for every time, right, there's a season, right? For every season, there's time, right? Whatever it is, there's a time to sow, there's a time to reap, right? There's a time to cry, right? There's a time to rejoice, right? Right. So there's a time to do hard work, then there's a time to reap from the hard work. But we can't do both of them in the middle, right? You can't reap from the hard work and then also have the hard work. You have to put the hard work down. You have to lay the rows in the field, right? To put the seeds down, to put the water down, to cultivate the soil, to watch it grow, right? If you're not ready for that process, then you won't have that type of success, right? Everybody that you see that has any lasting success, they want to talk to you about principles. They want to talk to you. They know that they can give you the steps. The steps is nothing because most people are not going to do the steps, right? If people say, Mike, how'd you do X, Y, and Z? I say, okay, this is what I do. Oh, well, tell me, just tell me how you did it. This is how I did it, right? Well, just like, hey, Miss McMorris, you've lost a lot of weight, right? Tell me how you did it. Well, you got to bear down. Well, you got to eat the protein bowls when you got to, reduce, right? Right. This is how I lost that weight. Okay. And then they say, well, I don't want to do that. Well, how you expect to lose that weight? You see what I'm saying? That we got to get real with what we're doing. We can't expect a different results from doing the same activities, right? Oh, Mr. Watts, I hadn't sent the email out. That's what I mean. After I get through this, I'll be able to send the email out to you guys. And this will be in that packet. Good question. That's right. Get inspired, get moving. Insanity to take you nowhere. Okay. That was in the email as well. Okay. And so that particular goal, I want to create within you the drive. Okay. Because it's when you are, let's say, for instance, when I was 26 and it was approaching, I had put my 2 weeks in at Chick-fil-A. I was going through and I applied to be a owner of Chick-fil-A. I was a general manager. I was the training general manager in the whole upstate area. So I've trained, we're not going there, but I've gone through that process, right? So I put in for ownership, right? Because I've already done real estate. I've already been in business. So I thought franchising would be great. So I worked for Chick-fil-A for 2.5 years doing that process. I come from Hardee's as a general manager, same process, right? And so now they say that no, because of, whatever reason, right, that it wasn't going to happen. Okay. The line was long, they only opened up a few stores here or there. So many people have already applied X, Y, and Z, right? Great. The very next week, I put in my 2 weeks notice. Okay. So once you tell me I have no more options of growth, what else am I going to do, right? And so that's what I want to create within you. I want to create within you that thing that has a motivation that says, I can't stay here, right? I can't be in this area run no more. I can't be this particular shell of a person anymore. I got to break out of this because I got to express this purpose that's down within me. In order to do that, you have to have financial education. That's all we're doing. We're laying that ground for that financial education so you can express the real you. And see, you got to slow down and come back and say, okay, hey, what's the things that I'm doing? Where am I? Right? What do I need to be doing next? Okay. Yes, I'm not good at this. Right? Just like some people say, well, Mike, like, you know, I'm helping people with various things. That's why I try to hold calls like this, so I don't have to charge large amounts of money. So to take my time away for individual, right? And see, that's the same with you. You have to create leverage for yourself so that you can get off of the job, so that the leverage you create starts to pay you over time. Okay. So then it's not worth taking you away. Nothing can take you away from your purpose, because your purpose is now what is creating your cash flow, right? So what we bring those things all together, and every time we get out of here and we say, okay, Mike, that was information. That's what I get. Oh, that was really informational, inspirational, right? And there was no action. Okay. So that's why I don't want to be impersonal. But then when I'm trying to be personable and take time for everyone and get everybody into places, right? Then I don't have the time. And then I get angry messages from individuals that are not getting the time and not doing the things necessary, right? So what I want to do, we're still doing what we're doing, but we're going to start having some checks, right? Let's get the things done. If you don't know how to do it, call somebody. Let's log into your courses, right? I get a notification when you log into your course, and as a student, you start to look at the individual the videos, right? It lets me know you're finished 10%, 20%, 100%, right? Because at that time I have it designated so that I could send you certificates and things like that for completions of the videos, right? So I want you to be the best you can be. And if you say, if you have to get to a place where you eliminate distractions. You got to get to that place to where you say, okay, hey, we have to come together and understand that this is not helping me to get to my goal. So I was talking to my man today. Who was that? Corey. I was talking to Corey today. He was like, man, I was like, man, you know how many people you got probably in your phone so you can do your list and stuff, man. He was like, man, I probably got like, you know, X amount of people in there. It was a low amount. He's like, man, every so often I just eliminate them. If they ain't about business, if they ain't really responding right, if they just cause the trouble, whatever, drama, I'm eliminating them, right? So you got to do that. You got to do that in your life. You got to zero base it, not just out of your phone, but out of your life. You can't be afraid of that. All right, people say, Mike, what's the, you know, why are you so quick to X people out? Because it's damaging, right? If you have a cancer in your body, you're going to wait and you're going to get rid of that thing immediately. Oh, immediately, right? Okay. So the videos are in your courses, right? Those are the Real University emails that you've been getting. That's when you go to the realu.club and, you know, you get in those, okay? And so what we'll do is we'll set a time and Trevor, and we'll go over that, you know, so we'll do like a simple video share, a Zoom share, and I'll walk you through how to get to that step on where those videos are, okay? So that you can actually go through that process, right? So guys, it's simple. It's a simple system. Okay, it's real simple. It really is. It really is. If you think about it, you are just simply talking to people about your purpose. And if that individual has response of any types of excitement, right? If they have any types of challenges with anything, right? So now you say, okay, hey, I see that you have a challenge with XYZ, or I'm curious, you said that you ... you had needed extra money for this, or you were trying to get through college, or whatever this is. Are you serious, or were you just talking, right? They'll say, oh no, I'm serious. I would like help with that. I mean, if you can, you know, what do you mean? You know, is there something you can help me with? Well, I may be able to. right? But let me see. I'm working with a group, it's called Real University, Renewing Excellence, Advancing Leadership, and they have a particular program that may help you. It's a little, what we do is on Thursday night, little calls and stuff like that, but we keep it private, right? And so I can see if I can get you on that call. Give me an hour or so, and then I'll contact you and see if I can get you on that shared private strategy session. Okay. And say, great, right? Let me know, right? And then matter of fact, you call them back. And at that point in time, you call your mentor, right? You call Miss McMorris, right? You call Miss Caldwell, you call Miss Lattimore, you call myself, right? And you say, okay, hey, I got this individual that wants to do, X, Y, and Z. Their hot button is they need an extra $500 a month. They're trying to start a business. Whatever that particular hot button is, right? And Miss Lattimore says, great, what we can do is invite them to Thursday night. You say, okay, great, that's what we'll do. Now, you guys do a 3-way call. You get set up a time. Oh, Miss Lattimore, when you have a couple seconds, you say, hey, I have a couple seconds on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. You say, great, Tuesday's tomorrow. Okay, that's when I'm, it's in my mind, right? I know the day's Thursday, but Tuesday's tomorrow at 2 o'clock, okay? Now you get with that person at your job, you met them at the mall, right? Whatever, right? Your friend, your auntie, your cousin, whatever it was you're talking to, right? You're not talking about selling nothing. There's nothing to reject you on. You're not talking about selling nothing. You're talking about helping them with their problem. See what I'm saying? So you said, I'm just curious about that problem. You said, I think I can help you. So you said that, right? So now you say, hey, I just talked to Miss Lattimore. You don't say I talked to Shante. You say I talked to Miss Lattimore. Miss Lattimore said that she'd be available at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, but as well, she would like for you to, first of all, see the call on Thursday so you can see the overall understanding of this financial presentation. Okay, so they tune in on Thursday, and then now we go and talk to them on that Tuesday or whichever one that came in hand first. Okay, see, all you got to do is understand the concept. Until you understand the concept, like scripts and things like that, just pass it over to the next experienced person. And if like Miss Lattimore hasn't been around long, but she can say, hey, that's great. I have time at this time. And then tell them she's going to tell you about what everybody says, which is the Thursday night call. That's what we all do, right? And so now at this time, you're going to run up with Miss Lattimore at 2 o'clock. Y'all set up a Zoom, you set up a conference call or whatever it is. Miss Lattimore says, hey, Janet, this is Miss Lattimore, right? And now Miss Lattimore says, nice to meet you, Janet. I heard you had a challenge with X, X, and X, right? Blah, blah, blah. But real quick, what did you think about the call that you saw, right? Because they've seen the Thursday night call already. Right? Would you like more information about the cash flow management, business income, or maybe investment income? Right? That's all we say. We keep right there on those three. And they will say whichever one of the three they would like more information on. And then Ms. Lattimore says, great. What I'll do then, let me grab your email and your phone number, and I will get you that information right away. But until then, let us set up another meeting so that we can talk about your goals in detail. Okay. And now that's a 3-second call, 10-minute, a 3-second call, 30-second call, and we're done with that. Now we have walked this person through several appointments in approximately an hour or 2 hours of time. You've moved them through processes so where you've exposed this person consistently. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm teaching you guys is a MBA education on marketing and advertising reduced into 5 steps: prospecting, peaking and passing, presentation, plug the person in, and promote. I got that from Brian Bean, who has done organizations. He teaches this across the nation and has built solid organizations corporately. He teaches and trains on that side too, right? So I want you to see that you can do what you desire, but you got to focus and you say, okay, what is it that I'm doing? The one thing that I'm doing. What is the one thing that I'm doing? You see, I may be known as Michael for a lot of different things. People call me because I get a lot of different things, get help for different things, right? But my one thing is financial empowerment. You see what I'm saying? See, that one thing, that financial empowerment, gives me a umbrella, so then I can reach a generalized audience. This allows me to help a generalized audience in financial empowerment. This nonprofit, building businesses, credit repair, whatever this is, it's all in this, right? I don't have to do it though. My econ does it. I just funnel them through Real University. You see what I'm saying? And you will do the same. You're funneling your people through the Real University system, through the My Econ strategies. And so we're all just building this framework so that others can access, right? We're using that generalized access to help any and everybody. But underneath that general access, you have your real thing here. And that real thing, that one thing is that, say for me, it's real estate, right? Or it may be for an individual. It may be creating personal development, a whole new you. Maybe for other people, developing a accounting firm, right? Whatever the end goal is, this allows you to market at a wide level and then create assets. So now you point the people to the success, right? And then when they go to success, now that creates for you multiple streams. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to do extra work. Now these people are satisfied by going through the regular steps of the steps that we're doing: income shifting, personal credit, right? Cash flow management. We're working on our personal credit, our budgeting, okay? Getting our basic things together. Now, as they start graduating, some of them are not going to do anything, right? But some of them are. So now you start to eliminate. So now you start to see the serious people. So now the serious people you invite into the business credit section. More serious people you invite in the personal development section for you. The real serious people you invite into your real inner sanctum. That's what you're doing. Your real estate development, your real estate development teams, your personal development coaches, your courses, your podcast. You see what I'm saying? See, this gives you a wide open arena to develop anything and everything, right? And all I want to do is get the best for you. And I can do this all night, guys. So I'm gonna get you out of here and let's reignite. Guys, everybody hit me. Let's do the basic. Let me show you the basics over again. And so let's start. Let's get your cash flow plan together. And after we get the cash flow plan, let's get the cash flow strategy together. Then let's start using our cash flow manager properly, right? And once we're doing that, let's make sure that we're plugging in, see what's going on with the personal credit. Let me make sure I get my stuff in there. Okay, did I upload my ID? Did I upload my proof of income and my proof of address? Right? Am I doing the steps necessary? Right? Am I going in and get my information? And if I don't understand the videos, we have many individuals that were here to help you. Miss Caldwell, she's been around for a second. Shantae's been around for a second. Trevor's going through training. He'll be able to help. Marcus Caldwell, he'll be going through training, be able to help. Carolyn, she's able to help, right? Marie Davis, I'm sure she'll be able to go through these steps because she's been here a second. She'll be able to help point you out. Corey Turner, he's going to be at a place to help you, to point you out in different places. Yashika McMorris, she's one of the leaders upon the leaders that I'm calling out. So we have people that you can call on to say, okay, hey, let's stop. Okay, I gotta know, I gotta get to this goal. I gotta get it. So I gotta find out. You gotta show me, right? Pull them down, pull them for you where you're gonna be, right? We gotta do it. We were born alone, you're gonna die alone, guys. You have a good one. I can do this all day, man. It gets me so hyped to get to people to the end goal, right? And I want to start eliminating things. And I appreciate you guys that show up, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the times like this. It's the times like this. And you see, okay, you know, who do you want to invest your time in? And you guys that are leaders, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much. Get yourself your milk, flour, and eggs. Okay, that's what my mentor told me. Find you milk, flour, and eggs, right? Those are 3 people that are centered around you that are going to be duplicating your efforts, okay? And then you can consistently talk to the myriad of people, but you want to consistently funnel yourself into those 3 individuals, right? And see, at this point in time, I have 6 individuals that I'm working with on that level. And then those 6 individuals has at least 1 or more on that they're working with, okay? And see, that's how you build an organization of thousands. You don't say, I'm going to go out there and get me hundreds, right? You may be like a Yashika McMorris who can get those. You may be like Trevor Watts, right? Who can just jump and talk to anybody, no problem, right? But there's a lot of us out there that are really, really introverts and that we are not looking to do that or can't do that, right? So just work consistently. You can be amazed. It is an underrated thing about how much you can accomplish in a short period of focused time. And it is also underrated, right? What happens over 5 years of people wondering generalities, right? Not knowing, I'm gonna do a little this didn't work, I'm gonna do a little this didn't work. We work with principles and strategies. That's why I say it's not pills, potions, lotions, wraps, and teas. You take the principles and strategies to do the pills, potions, lotions, wraps, and teas, the YouTubes, the gaming, whatever those things are, right? And I just want to holler at my young guy out there. So let's do this and let's get it going, guys. I appreciate you sticking with this time, and those of you that are out there and you have stuck in and this whole period of time, I appreciate it. And those of you that are not, that are asleep, yes.
Because we've come from so many different companies within this amazing industry in so many different countries, but we all deal with the same thing. So there's no faking it here, right? We're here not to compete with one another, which is a rare culture, by the way. Thank you, Art Jonak, for creating a culture like this. We're not here to compete, but complete one another. A rare culture in our industry, a rare culture to have, right? Because wealth is a minority. If it was a majority, everybody would have it. But everybody doesn't have $1 million, so it makes it a minority. That means that the majority of folks won't believe in what you're doing. They won't follow what you're doing because it's a minority. If it was a majority, everybody would say, oh yeah, network marketing, direct sales, count me in. But because it's not that, it's a minority. So don't expect to see the majority do what the minority only have. And so let's make sure we don't have a false expectation right from the beginning of our list. Look, I made a list, my first list ever. It said, look, make out a list of everybody you know. Don't prejudge, right? You've been told this. Don't prejudge. And so I did so. I made a list of everybody that I wanted to put on the list. It was 116 people. Now, I'm sure I knew more people than that. I was in my 20s, and I knew more people than 116. But those are folks that I felt comfortable putting on the list. 116 people. Your money may not come from the people on your list, but through the people on your list. And so sometimes we get so caught up on the people on our list and who's joining and who's not, but it's what's coming through your list, not necessarily what's on your list. If I was worried about the people who were on my list, I wouldn't be in front of you today, that's for sure, because out of 116, only one is with me. And by the way, the one that's with me is not the superstar. That's the one who led to the superstar. So not any of our Millionaire Club members, not any of our six-figure incomers, none of them were on my initial list. Sometimes our hesitancy, our fear is contacting the people on our list because we're concerned about what they're going to think about what we're doing, concerned about what we're saying, if we're going to say the right thing. But if you put your mindset, and it's not just that person, but who can come through them, then maybe you'll contact them knowing that it's not so much about them, but who they know. And so this is very important that we understand that our list is bigger than what's on your piece of paper. This is the feeling you gotta have, because the attitude comes before the paycheck. People say it all the time. It's easy for you. You think that way because money's not an issue in your life anymore. No, the attitude came before the paycheck. I had to think that way first. Posture. Now, I get excited when people tell me my brother's with me. We're doing it together as a family. My mom is with me. My son is with me. That's admirable, and I get excited for you. It's just not my story. This is the reason why you come to events like this, and we invite our teams to come to events like this, because even when I can't reach my team, a third party can. Because perhaps they can't relate to my story because no one on my list is really with me except one. But there's someone else who will get on the stage and say, my mom's with me, my son's with me, everybody with me. It's a whole family affair. And then you can relate to that because your family's with you. You can't relate to my story because my family's not with me. My family said, are you rich yet? You making $1 million yet? I was in for 3 months. You're like, you rich yet, son? I'm like, Dad, you've been driving the bus for 30 years. You ain't rich yet. I didn't say that. I just thought about it. Because my father didn't believe in timeout. I'd have been knocked out in the corner.